Hi, everybody. This is Miss Bridget with Ground Education. Today, we're going to be talking about patterns and patterns in nature. Now, I'm sure you've heard the word pattern before. It's something that we start learning about when we're in preschool and kindergarten and first grade. And it's a sequence. It's actually defined as an arrangement or sequence regularly found in comparable objects. Now, that's a lot of words for it's repeating and it helps us determine what could happen next based on a pattern. When this happens, then this happens, then this happens. But the place you're most familiar with hearing about patterns is probably patterns like the one on my mask, which is a polka dot pattern. Polka dot, polka dot, polka dot. I'd like to also show you another pattern, this time on something more natural than my mask. My faithful assistant is going to hand me a cat, and his name is Big Lou. Big Lou, check out the camera. If anybody can see that arm, let's see, you will see a pattern. Stripe, solid, stripe, solid, stripe, solid. This is Big Lou's pattern. I'm going to hand you back to my assistant. Thank you for your help, Big Lou. Maybe we'll see your brother or sister later. So Lou has a pattern. So maybe Big Lou has inspired us to talk more about patterns. I'm going to share my screen and show you a great lesson on patterns. Okay, everybody, my presentation today is called What is the Shape of a Snail Shell? Woo! Try and say that a few times fast. What is the shape of a snail shell? What is the shape of a snail shell? Natural patterns with ground education. Now, remember, I gave you a kind of big overview of what a pattern is. I know you've seen patterns before. Why does the world look the way it does? Patterns are everywhere. Take a look at some of these pictures. This is some dry earth. This is the inside of what looks like a flower, possibly a sunflower. And this looks to me, my big friend Chonky Lou helped me see a similar stripy pattern on him, but this looks like a zebra. So what are the patterns that you're seeing here? Here are patterns we know. And over here on the right, you're going to see this what comes next chart. This is probably how you first learned about patterns when you started at school. We see green square, blue square, green square, green square, blue square, green square, green square, blue square. So logically, that pattern tells us that after that blue square, is probably two green squares. And it's the same thing with the line below. We've got red circle, yellow square, orange circle, yellow square. And the pattern repeats again. Patterns are a way to think logically. Let's think about the natural patterns of waves, spirals, and things like tree branches. How do we know what happens next? I want to talk to you about another type of pattern called symmetry. If you're like Miss Bridget, you love symmetry. It's just when two sides both match. Are our faces symmetrical? Have you ever looked in the mirror and noticed that one half of your face is different than the other half? Maybe a little bit different, just a smaller shape of your eye on one side. Shapes and solutions. Let's count the sides of this repeating shape. We see it here, we see it here, and we see it here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Did I count that right? Let's count down here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is a hexagon. A hexagon is strong and efficient and artistic. If nature chooses this shape, so can we. As you can see here, this chocolate, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's a chosen shape of nature. Now let's talk about spirals, super spirals. We see spirals over and over again in nature. Look at the examples on this page. This is so cool, all these close-up details. Think about when you've maybe seen a spiral. Over here from this plant, this right here in the center, I'm going to trace my way out. Can you see my arrow? All the way down. A spiral can grow, protect, reach out, and curl up. If you remember when we planted peas, you may remember that the tendrils of the pea shoots, when they pop out, look sort of like this plant over here. They don't quite have the fuzz, but they're green. And those spirals are actually like very strong vines that reach out and grab onto something and pull that plant up towards the sun. This is one of my favorite, even octopus. Those tentacles, which reach out and grab things and bring it back to the octopus, like his mouth when he's going to eat, that is a spiral. And also this birdhouse is designed in a spiral, or as we're going to talk about soon, cycles. Cycle is a pattern of how things happen over and over again. And it's a cycle because it goes from one phase to the next in a progression without any stops. Cycles can show us how parts fit together to make a complex whole. So let's start at the blue arrows on both of these cycles that we all know. First is soil, which grows a tree that happens to have bananas on it, which produces the banana, which, if we eat the banana, the peel, as we've talked about in all of our composting lessons, will again become soil, which will grow a tree, which will produce a banana, which will become soil. That's a cycle. What about this cycle? Oh, from our chick hatching lesson last month, pardon me. Here's the chicken. Produces an egg, which produces a baby chick, which will grow up to become a chicken, which will produce an egg, and which will produce a baby chick, which will become a chicken. All of these cycles and patterns help us predict the outcome of these things. How can cycles help us think in new ways? So I'm going to show you a video right now. It's called, Could a Cycle Tell Us the Story of a T-Shirt?
Every day we engage in cycles. Patterns are like clues from nature, showing us how things are organized and connected. What might these patterns be telling us? Now let's think back to other patterns or cycles that we've experienced together. How can these cycles help us think in new ways? Where else can we try to think in cycles? By observing these patterns, we might see a creative place to jump in and make a change.
And so that was our video. So we use the word cycle. Have you ever thought about it in terms of recycling? Okay, so I'm going to stop my screen share there for just a moment. And we're back. So thank you so much for watching that video with me and going through the presentation. We have a lot of really fun activities like pattern snacks that are going to help you explore this concept just a little bit more. Before I go, I wanted you to say hi to my other assistant. Miss Mabel's back, and I will be producing one more video for you before the end of the school year. And I'm excited for you to see it. And I will send all of these resources to your teachers. Thank you so much for learning today with me, and I hope you enjoyed this video. So on behalf of me and Ground Education, have a great day. Take care of yourselves, take care of your families, and take care of your places, and we will see you soon. Bye, everybody.